let's just go addresses. If I'm mailing just listed cards to the 200 homes around this listing, where do I get those addresses? Okay, that may be a source. Yes. Yeah, well, the reason that says phone numbers is that we would coach you to call 25 to 50 neighbors around the just listed. Phone numbers are far more difficult to obtain today than they were when this was originally written. And so I don't even really emphasize that personally. I would say get the addresses and then mail the just listed or hand deliver a just listed walking card or property flyer to each of those homes. Okay? Oh, by the way, I said I knocked, it was about 190 homes. I didn't knock. I went up to each door. Almost everybody was watching the game, so I didn't see but about 6 people in the entire neighborhood. But one of the guys that I did see says, "You trying to sell my home?" And I said, "Well, do you need to sell your home?" He said, "Yep, thinking about it." 1 out of 6.
So let me ask you something. You knocked on the door? Or
Nope.
okay, that's nice.
Nope. His kids were playing outside, and as I was putting it on the door, he walked outside. And so... Yeah, about 6. And all were very nice. My last stop was at the model home in my neighborhood, and I just told the sales rep what I was doing, and he said, "Oh, did you get some, anybody mean to you or whatever?" And I'm like, "No, everybody was extremely nice." And one of them has a need to sell, and there's a good chance I'll get that listing. So, no, I mean, that's right. It was very polite. Okay, so start your own list where you insert. So, for example, on Just Listed, my source for that is a company called Prospects Plus, where they'll literally go in and pull up the addresses of the 200 closest neighbors. First American Title, their reisource.com is another way to get those addresses. So there's different ways. I'm saying put in your way.
What was your source?
Prospects Plus. And by the way, I actually ordered them yesterday because I have a listing way out in Katy. And it cost me $138. That was for the list and the postcards and the first class postage. I mean, they do everything. $138 is what it cost me. 200. The 200 closest neighbors. And we drilled it down right on a map search. I literally got their neighborhood and some overlap outside of it. For everything. I went on, I did the search. I mean, okay, so I told them the 200 nearest. They sent me then the list, and I didn't recognize the streets. So I called them back. They'd kind of missed it. So then we went into a map search together with them on the phone, and we got it right. Okay?
Yeah, how did you do the search? So this is Prospects Plus?
.com. Yeah, I've used them for years and years. They're a Florida company. That's how I got connected with them when I was in Florida. But they do everything for marketing. It's just a small. It's the 4x6. Yeah, yeah. You can get bigger ones, but didn't in this case. Okay, so go with me all the way to page 12. Okay. The 5 stages of converting a listing, because this is what we're going to focus on in class today. First stage, the pre-conversation activities. So when you first set the appointment, when somebody says to you, "Yeah, Lana, 7 o'clock Thursday night, that'd be fine." It's like, okay, great. Well, before I come out, let me ask you a few questions so I can be fully prepared for our conversation. So you go through this. We're going to give you those questions here in just a moment. Okay. Assemble the pricing tools. Now, Pricing Boot Camp is referenced there because we're going to show you a whiz-bang way to do that. For now, a CMA is all you need. Okay? So if you don't know how to do a CMA next Tuesday, all your dreams are going to come true. Okay? Robin Kitzmiller, do you all know Robin? Oh, super sharp, and she's excited about that. She is a teacher. She teaches at Champion School of Real Estate. So I'm excited about hearing her. Confirm the appointment, prepare the listing agreement, get on the listing channel, and arrive on time. Okay, that just means wherever your body is, get your mind there. Okay? If you're driving for this listing conversation, be focused on that, not the twins or the hubby or, the dishes. And however you do that, you listen to a CD, whatever it's quiet, you review the 5 steps that you're going to walk them through, whatever it is. Just get there, get your mind and body together. Okay? Step number 2 is message number 1, setting the tone. We're going to go through this. Then you deliver message number 2, goals, plans, and strategies. Then you deliver message number 3, mutual expectations. Then it says post-conversation activities. That could be misleading because you're actually still in conversation. You've delivered your main messages, but now you're going to handle objections, questions, concerns, and get the listing agreement explained and signed. Okay? So step 1 is before you get to the front door. 2 through 5 happen once you're in the door. Okay? Okay, so here we go. Let's break down the pre-conversation activities just a little bit longer. It is critically important, and that's why we have a whole page on this, that you do your prep work before you go in. Okay, you have the listing agreement ready. You've asked the pre-listing questions. You're on the listing channel. Because what you're trying to do when you get in there is differentiate yourself from the competition. Because a great percentage of sellers will perceive your competition as worth about 2%. So from the very first interaction with these people, you have to start differentiating. You're not typical, you're unique. You don't just take listings, you satisfy needs. Okay? You sell houses at market value. Okay? So differentiate, add to your value proposition. That's the same thing. You're just going to pile value after value. You're going to demonstrate that through this conversation, and then increase your referral business. Okay? Now, the 6 pre-conversation activities are? What are they? Let's go ahead and just write them down. Oh, don't cheat. I know they're on the previous page. Well, let's see. What are we going to do to get ready for this? We're going to prepare our pricing tools, correct. Or you can write CMA. That would be perfect. Get your CMA. Get on the listing channel. You'll never forget that one now. Okay? No, not yet. Not yet. That's in the conversation. Okay? How about we're going to confirm the appointment, right? We're going to arrive on time. That's another one. Okay? Do you prepare the listing agreement on there? How about ask the pre-listing questions? Do you have that on there? Okay, so how many do you have now? Okay, take a look. We're back on the previous page. Ask the pre-listing questions, assemble the pricing tools, or do the CMA, confirm the appointment, prepare the listing agreement, get on the listing channel, and arrive on time. Okay? All right, very good. Okay, here are the pre-listing questions, page 14. And by the way, I thought about retyping this for you guys, but there's no need to. You can just copy this just as it is. Okay? And I would encourage you to start carrying this list with you, whether hard copy or electronic. I would always keep it at your fingertips. Have it in your purse, have it in your car, have it at your desk, have it on your desktop on your computer, so that, and maybe you do want to retype it so that you have an editable version. Put them on speakerphone and type it in as they're asking, or just have a hard copy and write it out. But these are the issues. Okay, their name, their address. You want to find out if they're the sole owner of the home or not. By the way, why would that be important? That's right. That's right. I mean, you want to meet with all the owners, or at least the ones who have the authority to make the decision. You get all their contact information. You ask them if they will need to buy another home. Okay, so is this one transaction or two? The type of house they're selling. Square feet, bedrooms, bathrooms, garage, condition, excellent, good, fair, poor. You're asking them. You want their opinion of their own home. That will tell you volumes right there. Okay, I mean, if they start gushing about their home, it probably is in good condition. If they hesitate, oh, it's about like everybody else. Oh, probably not. Okay. How long have you owned it? That's going to give you just a little clue maybe about equity. Have you done any updating on the house? By the way, these questions are critical when you're preparing your CMA or your pricing tools so that you get your head into it, because you're like, okay, well, I understand in my CMA, square footage and bedrooms and the pool and all of that, but they seem to have done some extensive updating. They've got the outdoor kitchen in. They've put granite not just in the kitchen, but all the baths, so that you understand you're probably going to be coming in above what average square footage might be for that home in that neighborhood otherwise. Yes. Okay. Okay, yes. Well, it's not an exact science, right? But you want to go in with some idea. You don't want to go in blind, right? Because then all you would be able to then would be to show them what other homes have sold. And we're going to talk through the pieces that you bring in. But you're going to review all that data before you go in, so that particularly the solds, okay? Because those are the ones who've been successful in accomplishing what this seller says they want to do. And the sold sheet is the most relevant data to this conversation. But if through these questions you determine that this home is either superbly upgraded, or perhaps it hasn't been upgraded, or the condition is worse or better, that's going to impact the range of price entry points that you suggest.
It's not quite as detailed as an appraisal. We're just comparing like the square footage and the size. Is it basic?
Yes, basic. Yes, there's basically about 6 factors: bedroom, square footage, lot size, do they have a pool, year built, that type thing. Okay? You don't need to see it.
See, and I was asking how should you do a CMA without setting it in place, just based on this criteria that you asked them. I mean, probably easier here if it's neighborhoods where there's a lot of
Yes.
similarities, but, on some properties, I don't know if you could.
Okay, so let me say this. What I'm going to share with you in the next few minutes does not require technically a CMA. What we're going to recommend you pull from the MLS are the solds, the actives, and the expireds. Okay? You're not necessarily going to do, okay, I'm going to add $1,000 of value because they got a half bath, okay, or take away because they don't have this. That's what a CMA is, where you're accounting for all differences in the property to come up with the price. That's more advanced, okay? That's not what I'm going to, you don't have to be at that level yet, okay?
One other question.
Yeah.
That average or uncomfortable with, that was when you interviewing other brokers.
Yeah.
One thing is, I don't want to know what they are, because that, I think, would stress me out so much. And in case they're not thinking about it, I'm not going to put that.
You don't want to plant the seed?
I don't even like the word interviewing.
Yes.
I would rather ask, have you had any appointments at any other realtors?
Yes.
So then I don't want to set them into,
Yeah.
I'm interviewing you.
Yes.
And I blow up their head.
Yeah. Or are you going to be speaking with? Okay, I totally get that, what you're saying, but I'm going to push back on it just a little bit and say this. And I agree. I would throw out the word interview because I don't like that. But I think it's perfectly legitimate and helpful to say, hey, are you going to be talking to any other realtors? Okay? And here's why. It's the second question. Have you set those appointments? If they're going to be interviewing other realtors, Do you want to be first, second, third, or fourth? Why first?
You don't
By the way, I agree with you.
your chances that they might.
Well, that's right. Okay, because here's why. You get a great listing realtor coming in there in the number 1 position and you're in number 2, guess what? Your appointment may cancel. That's right. So if you're not first, you can be knocked out. You may never get to bat. If you are first, you can knock them out.
Yeah, and then the little fear.
That's right. No, they're not going to get a chance. They're not even going to show up. Okay? And I'm going to teach you the dialogue. We're going to get to that.
I saw 2 realtors running to the door.
Yeah. No.
Not getting the chance.
So what here's the dialogue around that. Will you be interviewing other realtors? Yeah, I think so. In fact, we're talking to somebody over at Coldwell Banker and someone at Keller Williams. Okay, well, great. Well, have you set those appointments yet? If they say no, we haven't, then you simply say, that's fantastic. I'd like to be first. Could we schedule that appointment where I come in first? Okay? If they have set those appointments, then you ask when the next one is. That's on Thursday night at 7. That's great. I'd like to come in and see you before your next appointment. Could we get together tonight or Wednesday? Okay? Again, it is a numbers game, and a high percentage of follow-up appointments are going to get knocked out. You don't want to be down there where you've lost control. You want to be in the position of control to knock them out. And we're going to show you how to do that. Okay? So that there is nobody who comes in after you. All right, so that's why we're encouraging you to ask. Now, if it's your best friend and there's a presumption that you're going to get the listing unless you just really screw up the conversation, then you might not ask that. But if it's somebody, again, our operational model, we're trying to open the door to new relationships. So when we come in, they're probably perceiving us to be like every other realtor. So in our pre-conversation activities, we want to find out. We want to know what the lay of the land is. Okay? And then set the appointment. Okay, confirm the appointment. There's some important dialogue here. Confirm 3 to 4 hours before the scheduled meeting. So if it's 7 o'clock at night, call in the afternoon. Okay, if the meeting's before 11 a.m., and there's a lot of daytime listing appointments, call the night before. Let's go through this dialogue because there's a couple things we need to identify here. Hi, Mr. Miss Seller. This is Frank with RE/MAX. Did I catch you at a good time? The reason for my call is to make sure that both you and Sam are going to be there tonight at 7. Okay? By the way, why are we saying you and Sam? Because in our pre-listing questions, what did we identify? They're both owners. That's right. So we want to make sure that all owners are there. You and Sam and Grandma are all there. Okay? Whoever's part of this decision-making process. Okay? If the husband, wife, or partner or other owner is unable to attend, then follow up in this way. Well, will Grandma be involved in making the decision to sell the home? If yes, I'd really like to schedule a time when she can be there, when all can be present. Because if all are not present, you're wasting your time. At a minimum, you're going to have to go back for 2 appointments.
But they most likely going to say, oh, I'll just, you can come and talk to me, this is fine, I'll just tell them.
Yeah.
In my situation, we're a divorced couple, I have to do this.
Twice. Yeah.
See, they're not going to be together.
I have to do that too.
Yeah. Okay, so we're still thinking people, right? We have to use our best judgment in different circumstances. So in a situation like that, I would have made 2 presentations rather than none, right, to get the listing. But the point is, if there's an opportunity to increase efficiency, do it. So that's the primary reason to confirm the appointment. First of all, to make sure somebody's going to be there, and then beyond that, to make sure that all the decision makers will be there. Okay, so getting on the listing channel. Here we go. It's just for you, Dee Dee. Clear your head of any and all distractions. Focus on the conversation at hand and imagine the desired result. This is what you're doing on the way, okay, while you're driving to the appointment, while you're walking up to the front door, okay? So imagine the desired end result. By the way, what is that end result? What are we wanting to come out of this conversation? What do we? What's our goal? There you go, Maria. Yes. Yeah. Because we don't want every listing. I guarantee you, you do not want every listing. What? That's right. That's right. Robin's got a listing that we don't want. It really is. It's bad for your reputation. It's bad for your energy. It's bad for your mindset. It sucks time away that you could be spending on more productive activities. It hurts your days on market. Hurts your...
But I think I mentioned you do want, no, there's some reason you should take a listing. I think you all looked at it, just so you put that time in your.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about that. We talked about our core beliefs is it's win-win or no deal. Okay? Every time you put a sign in somebody's yard, you win. Okay? You win because you'll get buyer calls. You'll get exposure. Now, if it sits there for 4 or 5 months, okay, it goes sour on you. And all of a sudden, people in that neighborhood are like, well, she can't sell a house, apparently, okay? You don't want your sign fading in the sun on their front yard, okay? But at least initially, you win by taking that. But if it's an overpriced listing, it's not going to sell, which means that the seller is going to lose. And we're not going to coach you to enter into win-lose relationships. It needs to be win-win. And win-win, ultimately, your win will be better. A win-lose situation, the win is always temporary. And win-win is permanent. And you don't have to be ashamed of it. Okay? All right. So the desired end result is to determine if a win-win working relationship can be formed. Okay? Arrive on time. And there's some simple rules of courtesy let's cover here. Very practical. Park on the street, not the driveway. Why would you want to do that? What?
Not to block them in.
Yeah, you don't want to block them in. Might be family members coming and going. They might be paranoid about your car doing what on their driveway. Oh, we'll get there. A lot of people are paranoid about cars leaking oil in their driveway. I was in a church home group one time, and the husband, who was not involved, the wife was, but we met at their house. He would go out and block the driveway. I mean, he literally would put stuff out so that nobody could park in the driveway because he was so paranoid about that, about leaking oil. So,
I live in a neighborhood where I get letters every time I come from my driveway. And
yeah,
this neighborhood where I have a listing, it's because it's such a tight area that the driveway, if you park on the street,
yeah,
you're immediately behind someone. They're staggered to where you're immediately behind somebody's driveway. So then when they back out,
yeah,
you know, they're inconvenient. So
yeah.
I don't.
Those are exceptions that prove the rule, okay? So again, this is not the laws of the Medes and the Persians. It's just good general advice. Introduce yourself, and here we go, Maria. Offer to remove your shoes, okay? That gives my wife the heebie-jeebies too. She wears shoes. She'd wear them in bed if I let her, okay? She loves to wear her shoes. Really.
My house, yeah, and somebody else, I don't like to.
Yeah. I mean, anybody here have a no-shoe policy?
I have had a no-shoe policy in my house before.
Yeah.
And it had everything to do with being microphobic. And
Yes.
my child was born, and I had new flooring put in, and
Would you want someone's sweaty foot?
but
Oh,
we didn't.
okay.
I want what the stuff is. I'd rather have a swim foot than a shoe that's for dog poop or
I don't know how weird.
public restrooms. But you can have. I have little
The footy.
booty things.
Oh,
that
the
they
booty.
put on. But it's
Yeah.
also I've had a listing 10 years ago. It was a culture thing, and they were Asian.
Oh,
And
that.
they
Yes.
had-
Yeah.
So even in my open houses that I had, we had a sign to please remove your shoes. But it's a
Okay,
culture thing.
I walked into some friend's house recently. This was a few weeks ago. It's a new house. They have an infant who's probably 4 months old. So it's me and my wife and my daughter. We step in, and they're very apologetic. And listen to what they say to us. Our child is going to be walking or crawling or walking soon, and so we want the floor to be really clean, so would you mind taking your shoes off, okay? Their baby's, I don't know, 4 or 5 months. When do they crawl?
That maybe too big of trouble.
Yeah. But they're preparing months in advance for this eventuality, okay? So my point is, I don't think like that. I mean, I think you should throw babies out in the barnyard. That's right. It's going to build up their immunities. You got to challenge their systems early, or they're going to have asthma and allergies their whole life. That's my philosophy, but people are different. Yeah. Yes. Yes. So, yeah. But in your house, we'd wear shoes. But in other people's house, it's not the same. So just offer. Offer. That's all that says is offer. Would you like me to remove my shoes? Oh, no, please wear them. Okay, so then come on in. All right. Move towards the kitchen and dining room. Move that direction. You're not going to sit down yet, okay? But here, if it's in italics, that's dialogue. Hey, because of the information I'd like to review and discuss with you, I prefer that we sit at the kitchen or dining table. Is that okay? Because a lot of people want to sit in the living room, okay? Their tushies like those lazy boy chairs. It's more comfortable. But the kitchen or dining room table is a more business-like environment. You're going to be showing your laptop or your iPad and some marketing materials. You're going to be signing documents. So move that direction. However, you're not going to sit down yet. Move that direction. Put your stuff down on the table. But then say, before we get started, why don't you pretend I'm a buyer and show me around your home, pointing out what you feel are the features and amenities of the home. Okay? If that's too complicated, just point out what you like best about the home. Okay?
You should have a notepad.
Yes, and actually, it's going to be a more detailed than that. Let's look at the next dialogue. As you walk around, build rapport and take notes. Have a notepad. And I'm sorry, I led you astray, Edie. I'm thinking again of FSBO and expired, where we go around with our measurement. We're not taking measurements yet. Okay, so it is just a notepad. As you tour the home, mix in talk of family, occupation, recreation, and dreams. That's the Ford concept. If you're a natural rapport builder, and I suspect most of you all are, just let your charming personality come out. Okay, don't worry about it. But if you're like, oh my goodness, what am I going to say to these people? Okay, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Okay, all right, there we go. Take notes in regards to the home's features, amenities, and condition, as this is where you will determine which value range the home most identifies with. Now, you got a preview of that in your pre-listing conversation questions, where you asked about condition and any upgrades. But now you're confirming those initial impressions, because you may want to adapt what you say in the pricing discussion based upon what you see here. Okay? This is also a perfect opportunity to warm up the relationship, set a conversational tone, and exhibit your charm and likability. You want them at the end of this little home tour to think, oh, she's really nice. Yeah, I mean, we didn't know who she was, but yeah, she seems like someone we could work with. Dee Dee?
I have a quick question. I like calling people Mr. whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes I think some people are a little bit offended, or ma'am, or
Uh-huh.
whatever.
Yes.
Do you think there should be, like, I force myself now to refer to people as their name. But
Yes.
I noticed that I have very if
Yeah.
I say ma'am or sir, or do you think it matters?
I don't typically do that.
Like, I don't like to call a really old person, like if their name is
Yes.
whatever, and they're in their 80s, I prefer to call
Yeah, it'd be Mr. Smith for me too. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, if there's a big gap in age,
Yeah.
I would definitely do that. Otherwise, it's not really cultural in Texas to do that. If we were in Louisiana, I'd give you a completely different answer.
Yeah, that's my background, but it is really that.
Are you from Louisiana?
No,
Oh,
it's
but
in my culture,
in
you
your-
don't refer to people
yes.
you don't know as their first name.
Yes. Yeah. I would say if you're in doubt, I would maybe tend towards the more formal and let them tell you, oh, just call me Jim, So I don't think you'll get in too much trouble doing that, because they will correct you if they don't care for it.
And I don't know if it's even it's not personal. I think it's showing respect,
Mhm.
and then it's up to them if they are ever comfortable calling on the first name or whatever. So
Yeah.
that's
But I tend to be older than most people these days. It's amazing how that happens over time. And it would be really strange, you know, for me to refer to you as Mrs. Wims. Mrs. Wims, to me, that would be a little odd, you know. Although if I did not know you, I don't think I would call you Dee Dee.
But you know what, the weird thing is, my husband likes to be called Mr.
Okay.
And I find it so irritating.
Yes.
He tells people.
Does he want you to call him Mr. Wims? Do you know, in the 1800s, women referred to their husbands as Mr. last name.
My Mr.
Yeah.
They do that in the South.
Do they?
They call him my Mr.
Yeah. If you look at the even love letters in this during the Civil War era, yeah, they'll refer to, you know, the husbands don't refer to Mrs., but the wives will refer to Mr. Jones. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of funny. Yeah. Okay, so return to the kitchen after you've taken the tour, and then ask this question: in which chair would you like me to sit? Because do people have their favorite chairs? Yes, they do. So, yes. Yeah, so ask. As you come back, just, hey, is there a place you'd like me to sit? And they'll direct you. By the way, if you have an option, you don't want, you know, Mr. here and Mrs. here and you in the middle doing the ping pong match, okay? If possible, if you can have any influence over it, you want to be able to look at both of them simultaneously, okay? So you're not going back and forth, because you'll be able to read body language that way. Otherwise, they're going to be signaling each other. Every time you look this way, this one's going to be, you know, no. You don't want that. You don't want that, yeah. Okay, quick review, and we're going to do this quick, so let's pop them out. Why should you ask pre-listing questions? Yeah, so you can be fully prepared for the conversation, and particularly the pricing discussion, okay? And also on the pre-listing questions, if there's going to be another realtor involved, so that you can get into first position, critically important, okay? Why should you confirm all appointments? Oops. The other good answer would be to make sure that all decision makers will be present. Okay? Why should you get on the listing channel?
You can't be distracted, you gotta focus on this.
That's right. I mean, this is it. I mean, other than attending a closing and getting a check, being in a listing conversation is the most dollar productive activity you can do. That's it. That's where you make your money. So much more spin-off business out of that conversation. Okay? Why should you arrive on time? That's right. It's professional. It's courteous. And by the way, if the appointment's at 7, what does arrive on time mean? Actually not. It means 7.
You sit in your car.
Well, not in front of the house. I mean, if you arrive early,
That's your opportunity to
drive the neighborhood.
But I would recommend getting there at 6:45 and driving the neighborhood.
Yeah. In this traffic, make sure you get plenty of time. But yeah, don't knock on people's door early, because guess what? At 6:45 is when they say, "Oh, that realtor's coming. You know, let's clean the house." Okay, you don't want to. Yeah, seriously, that's how it happens. Okay, why should you offer to remove your shoes? It matters to some people. It matters. Okay, why should you move towards the kitchen or dining room? It's a business conversation. Okay, not the living room, because you're going to be signing papers, and you're up close and personal with people. It's a more business-like environment. Why should you ask for a tour of the home? Really, 2 reasons. What are they? Okay. Okay. So you're assessing the condition of the home. That's right. What's the other primary purpose? That's right. Build some rapport, warm up the relationship. Okay. What should be your agenda? We just covered it. Those 2 items. Warm it up and get the condition. And then finally, why should you ask to be seated? Or where should I sit? That's right. You'll sit in Papa Bear's chair. All right, page 19. The listing conversation. So we went through, there were 5 key listing activities. One was the pre-conversation activities, which we just went through, and then the remaining 4 are the dialogues with them. So now we get into that. So once seated, you're ready to enter into the conversation zone. And there are basically 3 messages you want to deliver so that you take ownership of the conversation. Number 1, not all realtors behave alike. Remember, we're differentiating, we're demonstrating added value. 2, we must find and agree on the most appropriate price. And then 3, we each have roles with specific expectations. And you're going to love that part of the conversation, okay? You telling sellers you're different and can add value does them no good. You must allow them to self-discover that, oh my goodness, Maria's different. You know, the other realtors that we've worked with in the past haven't talked to us like this. They haven't asked us questions like this. So you're not saying, I'm Maria, the all great one. You're just saying, hey, I want to have a conversation to talk about your needs. And in the course of that conversational approach, they will self-discover this is different. Okay? So here's the process. Here's the rhythmic flow. Engage, and that simply means ask questions. You're going to stay in charge of the conversation by asking questions. Deliver a message. So engage by asking questions. When you uncover a need, then the message that you deliver addresses that need specifically. So you're not just randomly thinking they're going to love my virtual tour, they're going to love my advertisements in luxury magazines, they're going to love my just listed campaign. No, you're asking questions, delivering an appropriate message, and then circling back to gain agreement. Okay? So just a quick, for example, you're engaging. So, you know, what needs to happen in this transaction to make it a 10 for you? Well, we need to net $50,000 out of this transaction. Okay? So, so Mr. and Mrs. Seller, the best